I think my journal's getting a little gator mouth. Have you heard of gator mouth before? Well, that's what this is. But that's not what this video is about. What today's video is about is these little journal cards. These journal cards are in the shape of a purse. They are so beginner friendly. You're going to love making them. Doesn't matter whether you've been making journal cards and journals for years. This is something that is so easy to do and they look so pretty in your journal. I've just pulled all the center pages out of the magazines and I've gone through them. And if you've been making journals for a while, you may not like white in your journal. So what I like to do, if I do use white pages in my journal, I'll always try and put something like this in with that white page. It just complements it and it works. So I've made this one to go on this page. So don't be afraid to use white pages and little journal cards like this that work with those white pages. But you can also use tea-dyed paper. You can use an Edith Holden page if you've got one, or any book page. That is just one part of an Edith Holden page, and I've just used where the page is folded over, I've just used that as one of my folds in the purse. That one hasn't been embellished yet, but I've made them up so that I can embellish them later. And this one here, I've just put a little Velcro on there. You don't need to do that, but aren't they beautiful? This one is coffee dyed paper with a lace pattern on it, and I've just stamped just a note in there. So you can make them out of paper. You can make them out of light cardstock. You can make them out of scrapbook paper. You can make them out of, this is a calendar. So that's the inside of the calendar, that's the outside. It's quite glossy, but you know, I could scratch that up with a bit of sandpaper, but I haven't yet because I haven't found a place for it, so I'm going to leave it until I do. This one here, I've made into a pocket and I've scooped the front out. So there's so many ways that you could use your little purse. What I've also done is printed it out smaller. So this is at 75%, and this one's also a little pocket. Just put something in that and stick that in a pocket, and I made that one out of a paper bag. Very versatile, this one. So if you want the pattern, go to my website. The link is in the description below. You can go and download this one for free. So now I'll just show you how quick they are to make. The first thing you'll need to do is go to my website and download your template. I've got it available in the size at 100%. That's this size here. It's best printed on cardstock. It makes it much easier to trace around. And this one here is at 80%. When you get to my website to download, you'll also see a video there that shows you how to print at 80% if you don't know how to do it. So it's pretty easy to make up. All you got to do is select your paper, put the template on your paper, and trace around it with a pencil. If you're going to add Velcro stick-on dots here, just mark the center of the front of the purse here and then cut it out. Make sure you rub away the pencil lines. You can score these lines here where you've got to fold your purse over, but you can just fold them freehand. You don't have to use the scoreboard. I'm just showing you in case you want to. And because there's no square edges on this purse, I use my ruler to line up these 2 points here. So if you're not using the scoreboard, just turn the purse over and line up these two corners here. And then crease it with your bone folder or your finger. Then bring the top flap down and just crease that with your finger as well. Now I'm just going to quickly cut out another one because I'm going to show you two different ways that we can embellish this. This one here, I'm going to use some tea-dyed paper as a lining. I've traced around my purse and I'm just going to cut it out 1/8 of an inch smaller than the outline. I'm just using my eye, there's no template for this. Once I've traced around that, I'm going to distress ink both pieces. And here's a tip with this purse. You can fold this purse two ways. You can have it so that you can look at it this way, or you can have the flap facing on the outside so that it really does look like a purse. So I'm just going to put a ink stamp on the top here, and this is just a note. You could always add lines all the way down the page if you want, but just to get things moving along, I'm just going to glue the top part down. You can use either a fabric glue or a wet glue like Barely Art here, and I'm just putting it on both sides. This is just personal preference, you don't have to do it. I'm only gluing it down at the top because if I want to journal underneath this, I can. It makes it easier to fold as well. So I'm just going to hold the two pieces of paper together and do my first bottom fold. The first thing you'll see here is I've got what we call page creep. So I'm going to open it up again, and this time I'm going to pinch the top of the purse and hold it down so that the lining paper doesn't move up. And then I'm going to just crease it and fold the top down. So this is a really good way to cover up the inside of your paper if you don't like it as much as the outside. For the second one, I'm just going to add an index card. And this is a really easy way to add an index card. I'm going to make it a flip up by adding a piece of washi tape to it. So you just put half on, half off, and then tip it upside down and make sure it fits on the inside of the purse, and then it just flips up and down. All I'm going to do now on this one is add some distress ink, and we'll go ahead and embellish the fronts. I'm going to use my cluster book for this one. I made this video a little while ago. If you want to see how I've made this, I'll put the link below so you can make one too. It's so handy when you get up to this stage. So I don't have to make an embellishment for the front of this purse. I'm just going to use one of these. The thing is, we often talk about overthinking. Well, I am definitely one to overthink, but I'm really not going to make you watch me choose one of these clusters. So I'm going to get on with it and just show you the one I've picked. Now, once you tear these clusters out, you can re-tear them. You don't have to use all of the background, like this yellow one here. It's got too much yellow on it, so I tear a bit of the yellow off just to make it work with my purse. I've put a little paper doily on the purse first, so it goes from the front over to the back, and then I put my cluster off to the left a little bit and glued it over the top. This one here, I've got some doily pieces left over from another project. So I'm just going to glue this on the front of this one. I'm going to leave the bottom free and trim the sides so that it comes back into the edge of the purse, just overhanging a little bit. And trim back the cluster, and again push it over to the left a bit. You don't have to put things centered. And this purse, when I put this in my journal, you're going to see the bird facing up the right way. When I embellish, I'm a bit of a minimalist. If you love putting heaps of stuff on the things you make, just go for it. Put as much on here as you like. So here's one I've already put in my journal, and I've secured it with a clip and hung some things off the side. And I'm going to put this one on here. This is parchment paper that I'm going to just put a paper clip on and show you what that looks like. And I can also use it as a tuck spot. And this one looks pretty good on the white paper. So you got white in the back of the purse. I can move it around so easy, which I often do when I put things in my journal. I often have another look at it and move it around. But these are so easy to make and so lovely in your journal. So this one looks just as good no matter which way you put it. So we've got the white on the print with the white paper. And if you turn it around, you've got the flap of the purse that looks really good with the printed scrapbook paper. Here's a close-up of some of the purses that I've made. Enjoy making your little journal purse, and I'll see you over on my website. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.